Hello. Looking forward to taking some time to explain to you guys what we've been doing on the ranch here with a lot of the logging we've been doing. We've got about 1,500 acres of Ponderosa Pine forest, and we get a lot of questions from people asking, well, why would you log this? You know, this is obviously we have some high expectations for doing healthy things on the landscape out here, so yeah, take some time to visit with you about why we're doing that. One of the big things about a Ponderosa pine forest that you see in most of the West, you know, an example would be a lot of the California fires, is we live in a very fire-prone environment, which these trees have been evolved for hundreds of years to exist in that, to where when they come up, they're really good. There's some wild turkeys in the background. I hope you guys can hear that. The Ponderosa pines, they come up really thick, and so the fire really thins them out and keeps that forest healthy, and keeps not all of them are designed to live. You know, if there's 500 different baby trees that come up, the fire that's a response to the fire coming in and killing most of them. So only a few of them really live out of that. So when you take fire out of it, you get a really dense forest like you can see behind us, which ends up being kind of environmentally poor. It's not as good wildlife habitat. Good wildlife habitat in a Ponderosa pine forest looks like a big park. So you have a really healthy, beautiful green understory with lots of plants and grasses for wildlife habitat, for feed, for big animals, small animals, birds, insects. Is really getting that sunlight down to the forest floor, and then the pine trees are in little groups in this spaced out environment, and so that park-like look is what creates a really healthy place for deer and elk and turkey and all the little birds and bugs, and it's just this mix. It creates a very diverse, healthy environment that can only be achieved historically through fire. And so what we've been doing is some logging to try to recreate that effect of, yeah, there they are again. I sure hope you guys can hear that. Since we've been doing a lot of this, it's really improved the habitat, and we're seeing a lot of species come in that weren't here before. A lot more turkey. We get a goshawk in here that we haven't seen from talking to a lot of the bird groups and stuff. They haven't really seen a lot of goshawks in this area. But since we've been doing this logging to space the forest out, it's really improved the habitat for all the species and their food value. And, you know, we have a lot more open ground, more healthier environment. So anyways, let me show you some of the work we've done so far, and some kind of different stages here. It's kind of interesting to show you why we're doing what we're doing. This is an area it's real good to show you guys. You know, you hear us ranchers nerd out on soils and stuff. In this dense Ponderosa pine forest, you get to where this is where we say it's kind of poor ecosystem, is the floor is just covered with dead needles. There's really no nutrient cycle working those needles into the ground. And you end up, this is where the fires get really hot, is in these needle beds, and then they climb up these thick, low branches like that, and the fire just gets out of control in these dense areas, to where the firefighters or nature can't shut it off with the rain or anything. It just gets crazy. Whereas kind of on the line here, I'll wander over to some of the work we're doing over here. You can just watch the green show up here. You can see how much healthier the understory is here. Look at all the grass coming in. You still see the needles. We've still got some work to do out here. That's where a pig's coming in handy, working those needles in the soil. But just look at how much healthier the understory is here, and this brings in all this green just brings in more and more wildlife, better and better habitat. for everything. Birds, bugs, mice, you name it. You can see a little bit here. We group them together. That's kind of the idea with Ponderosa Pine, is they kind of reproduce in these big, or these little groups, I should say. Kind of get that park-like look that creates a really, when this grows in this summer, this will be a really beautiful green understory. You can already see the changes happening. Get a little sun down to the bottom, much healthier forest. Behind us is just kind of a fire-prone mess, just to where you have inches of pine needles, very poor understory, very poor wildlife habitat, poor soils. And the goshawk, for example, is one of the birds, being that this property is owned by the National Audubon Society. We're all about trying to create the best bird habitat we can on the ranch through our management and our grazing, where and when we put animals, is to promote healthy bird habitat. The goshawk is really drawn to these areas for feeding, because it can swoop through here and catch mice, and so we always need a mix of dense areas and open areas and down trees and logs for mice to breed in. You can see just how dang thick that gets without fire. And then panning behind me, I might lose you with the sun, but we've got a beautiful area behind us that really didn't need a lot of logging. It was a little bit more historically open like that. And I've been trying to capture, I don't know, maybe you can just see in the background, there's a big male turkey out there looking for a female. He's got his feathers all spread out way back there. Let's see if I can get a little closer and show you. This is just too cool. I hope I can zoom in enough. This area, I was telling you, is a little bit more historically accurate to having this open park-like look. And you see this male turkey. That's his mate over there. Oh, he heard me. It's pretty cool. This is where they're here's his competition. See if I can zoom in a little bit more with. Yeah, they heard me talking. Anyways, they're drawn to these more open areas for breeding. And so we're trying to recreate more areas on this ranch to where it's a little bit more historically accurate. Let's see if I can get a little closer without spooking them. Nice male turkey looking for a girl. Boy, he's a nice looking one. See if we can get him gobbling on here. He's wandering into that area that we just logged. There's a good shot of him. Trying to get the ladies. Still trying to get the ladies. Join him up there. Looks like this is where a lot of them roost for the night. And you can see there again, that's a nice mix of open areas, and they can fly up there and spend the night without getting attacked. If we stick around a minute, he might call in some ladies to join him.